Let's get the hell out of here. Let's just get behind this rock and watch him from here. It's just so scary working with an animal that can essentially shatter your arm. There we go. So he's popping his head up. We just want to stay back here. The nice thing about the concoction that we used is one of the drugs is a very powerful amnesiac, which basically makes them forget everything. So it won't have any recollection of this. And basically it will just feel like a weird dream. It's just like every party I've been to. You get drunk, pass out, and people draw on your face. Very embarrassing. So you can see the kids waking up just fine. What it will do is the drugs will all be gone in just a few minutes and basically go away and live in its caves. This is absolutely ideal. Hyena territory. And obviously there's a decent population of them around here.
We're less than a mile from the Syrian border, so we'll move south before dark, and I'll stop to scout for an Iranian monitor.
It's amazing how dramatically the temperature drops here. It's been blazing hot the whole day, and suddenly as the sun even starts dipping down before it gets too cold, the temperature starts getting a lot colder and colder. And a lot of people just don't appreciate the fact that deserts, as well as being super hot, are always super, super cold. Come look here. Look right in there. Right through here, there's a Pseudocerastes, right here. But the amazing thing to notice is just how similar to the rocks a snake is. If you look in that light, it's almost identical. And that's why these snakes love living in this habitat, because they have such brilliant camouflage. So Pseudocerastes are so well adapted to their environment that it's almost impossible to make it out. The only reason I recognize it was the little horns over its eyes. If you look right over there, they try and expend as little energy as possible and basically sit there, wait in ambush for things like lizards and birds, and will wait for them to come past and hit them. And a snake that big will easily be able to take a small bird. Oh, this thing's huge. It looks like a rattlesnake. I didn't know they got that big. I mean, I was imagining a snake about, a foot and a half long, but that's rattlesnake size. There's a rattlesnake that occurs in Southern California called the speckled rattlesnake. It looks almost identical to that. It's got heavy bars in it and just a gorgeous coloration. Let's see if we can get him out. Just clear a path for me. Shh. Hear that? He hissed. He's obviously noticed us. I've never worked with these before, so I don't know exactly what it's going to do. This thing is stunning.
Here's a clip from my adventure files. I was looking for snakes in South Africa when I found a giant rock scorpion.
It's the biggest scorpion in Africa.
Compared to other scorpions, they have a simple, non-deadly venom.
And they're mainly using sheer brute force to kill their prey items, those big, big pinchers.
And fortunately for me, they hardly ever sting.
These guys will eat pretty much anything that they can find and overpower.
He's a nocturnal hunter, so I'd let him go back to sleep. I'm on the hunt for samples from animals with unique adaptations to survive the deserts of Jordan. And I found a deadly snake for which there's no specific antivenom.
Look right in there.
The false horned viper.
Jesus. One of the things you can really appreciate about these snakes is the sidewinding motion. And that's a evolutionary response to living in a hot, hot climate. It tries to get as little of its body in contact with the sand as possible, because sometimes when it's moving, the sand will be over 150 degrees. The scales on it are just very, very keeled and actually have almost a bump on them, and that's thought to maybe help with the preservation of water. And if you look at its jaws, it's got this very distinctive triangular-shaped head, and that's just a sure sign that it's a viper. This is bigger than any sidewinder I've seen in the States or any horned I've seen in Africa, so this is a really impressive find. And what I want to do from this guy is get venom. The only problem is we don't know what this venom does. But in lab tests, it's shown on rodents that it's extremely neurotoxic. And also any venom that is neurotoxic has huge potential for pharmaceuticals in the way of neuromuscular diseases, things like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and basically anything that's affected by the central nervous system. It's obviously really bad for me because if I get bitten by this guy, it's a open guess to exactly what would happen. Giant fangs. Look at that. Look, I mean, I just absolutely love the horned adders because that profile of them is just absolute, what some might say is evil, but I think it's absolutely gorgeous. There's little, almost like eyelashes over his eyes. So if you look, he has these really big mandibular muscles, and that's also where the venom glands live. And it's usually a pretty safe bet to say that a snake with big venom glands is going to be pretty toxic. So he's dripping venom from his left fang. So what I'm going to do is try and get as much of that as possible. Look at that venom yield. For a snake this small, this is extraordinary. I mean, that's an insane amount of venom. And evolutionarily, it's thought that maybe these snakes have such a potent neurotoxic venom to kill mice so quickly because out in the desert, you don't get very many opportunities to feed. So when you get the chance to hit a mouse, you want to make sure it dies quickly so you don't have to chase around after it. This is the most venom I've got in a long time from a snake, and the sheer volume of it's immense for a snake this small, and it's basically changed its head shape after it gave all that venom. And that means those were giant venom glands full of venom. And if you look at the color of it, it's a golden rich color, and that means it has a lot of toxins in it.
The concentration of that sample will make it highly useful to researchers.
What I want to do with him is release him like this so he doesn't basically get sand in his mouth, because that's not good. So what I want to do is just return him to the rock that I found him at. All right, little monkey. Well, that's right where I found her. I'm gonna let her go. All right, little buddy. Look at that sidewinding motion, absolutely gorgeous. She's going right back to her house.
I've been searching for 3 days, but so far I've had no luck finding an Iranian monitor. In the last 30 years, their population has dropped by 70%. While I'm looking, I'll keep my eyes open for other animals too.
Bottom of these bushes is often good for snakes. The problem is the snakes that occur around here are so well camouflaged that you often don't see them until you're on top of them. And a lot of them pack quite a punch and have a nasty, nasty bite. Oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, he's going inside it. He's right at the base of this bush. You see him? And that's basically what a lot of people call camel spiders, but they're actually just a member of Sulfugidae. And these guys will run pretty quickly. Heavily nocturnal, only come out at night. The only way to find them during the day is pretty much by flipping rocks. And this guy's at the base of the shadow. Look at that. Oh. Look at that.
These guys can run at speeds over 10 miles an hour.
Don't move your boot. Take a step back. Oh. So I want to try and grab this guy. I do not like spiders, and since I was a kid in Africa, I've hated sulfugids, nasty little animals. And he's rubbing his jaws together, and you can actually hear a faint hiss that he's making. Oh, dude, he's in attack mode. See ya. Oh, look at that. Oh, gee.
I'm in Jordan, where I found what's commonly known as a camel spider.
He's in attack mode.
While not a true spider, this guy's related to both spiders and scorpions. Ooh. And he's got tremendous speed.
Oh, gee. That's freaking awesome. Look how fast they move.
Camel spiders don't have venom, but they do have huge teeth and pinchers that can inject saliva full of bacteria.
Oh, in the heat of the day, they'll try and get shade And obviously humans cast a big shadow, and then they try and get into your shadow, and it gives the perception that they're chasing you, which is not true.
It's an incredibly painful bite, so I'll try to bag him to get a closer look.
Oh no, don't move, don't move. Just under your boot right there. Just lift your foot. Freaky little creature. Look at that. This thing scared the bejesus out of me. The story about these basically going out and eating camels and eating human flesh are all just fallacies. You can see where they get that notorious reputation from, those big biting mouth parts. It has 2 on the top and 2 on the bottom, and they basically work like scissors. They just macerate any flesh with that.
Camel spiders prey on insects, lizards, and scorpions, but rarely hunt for prey bigger than they are.
So because these guys don't have a venom, it's pretty hard to get any sample, and the only way to do it would basically be to kill it. So what I want to do is just let him back under his little crevice. We can hunt and kill tons of flies. So one of my least favorite animals in the whole world, but it's nice to see these animals and actually try and dispel some of the myths that abound about them. It's really cool.
Temperatures in Jordan reach 120 degrees, so reptiles take cover in the heat of the day. With no Iranian monitors in sight, I'll move on to work with a bigger desert animal at a game reserve. White oryx were hunted to extinction in Jordan, but 11 were reintroduced 30 years ago by the Royal Society for the Conservation of Nature. The local population is expanding well, but because their initial gene pool was so limited, researchers are tracking the herd carefully to avoid excessive inbreeding.
I'm here with Ahmad Al-Shalam, and he's been a part of the oryx story from the beginning. He works for the Royal Society for Conservation of Nature and has basically been working with oryxes for the last 28 years. And through aggressive conservation reintroduction campaigns, these animals have actually bounced back quite astoundingly.
My goal is to find one and collect a blood sample so researchers can monitor the population's genetic diversity.
This is definitely from the oryx.
These droppings are fresh, and the ranger spotted oryx earlier, so we should be close.
So from a start of just 11 animals back in the 70s, these oryx's numbers have actually mushroomed for these highly endangered animals, which is phenomenal. Oh, right there. They're running right through there. Those are the guys we're looking for. There. The grass is just higher than they are, so they have phenomenal camouflage. There's a big hierarchy in the herd, and the males will combat a lot. And what's happening is these 2 males are fighting. Sometimes they'll even kill each other.
The hair on the white oryx is adapted for desert life. The color reflects the sun, and it's fine enough to let air circulate past the skin in the heat of the day.
We're gonna try and stalk through here and get close enough to get a shot off.
That's the male over there.
Okay, so the one we're looking at right over there is a male, and actually quite a big animal, and it's perfect.
I have to make the shot count. These animals can charge if startled, and those horns are like spears.
Even though that's just an antelope, those horns are probably about 3 feet long. And I've had a personal friend that was hit in the chest, and one of those actually went through his heart. Luckily, he survived. But still, this is not just like a deer at home. These things can kill you. Right on the top of the leg. That's fine. I'm gonna start a 5-minute countdown so we can see exactly what the drugs are doing. You can see he's just starting to look a little bit dozy.
He's down, but just like the hyena, that doesn't mean he's unconscious.
Shh. Be careful.
He's powerful enough to drive those horns right through me.
It was really, really fast asleep, but just awake enough to jump up and run away. It's down.
Shh.
Come on, dude, come.